Have you ever thought to yourself, I shouldn't feel this exhausted, things are going well? If you have, I want you to stay, because what I'm about to share will change how you see the problem and help you identify what will actually fix it. This will be relevant for founders who already have clients, already have a team, and still feel exhausted, because not having this clarity will inevitably lead you to burnout and on the edge of losing everything, just like it did for my father. I've worked with founders who thought they were burnt out. They weren't. In fact, once you see the core problem that's causing you to feel exhausted, you'll never be able to unsee it. But the insight alone won't be enough to completely solve it. That's why in this video, I'll be sharing what's the real issue that is causing burnout, the one thing you shouldn't be carrying, and that's slowing everything in your business down, and how other founders have fixed it without ruining the business. And just to be clear, this is why most of the advice you've already tried didn't work. Time off didn't fix it, delegating didn't fix it, even working on yourself didn't fix it, because none of those touch on the thing you're actually carrying. And once you see what that is, the exhaustion suddenly makes sense. So imagine this. You're at a soccer game with your kids, and next to you is Timmy's mother. She's the most animated and passionate parent from the group. Every time the team scores, she yells so loud it nearly ruptures your eardrums. But today is different. Today, Timmy's team is losing, and Karen is fuming. She can't stop yelling at the kids to pass the ball to little Timmy. And when they finally do, she passionately shouts out instructions to Timmy while getting more and more frustrated. But all of a sudden, the opposing team scores again. And that's when she's had enough. To everyone's bewilderment, she jumps the fence, pushes little Timmy to the side, takes the ball, and starts mowing through the kids towards the goal. She scores. But instead of cheers, the stadium is speechless, with their jaws on the floor. They can't even believe what this crazy Karen just did. Sounds like an extreme example, but unfortunately that's most founders. They delegate, but still keep ownership of the outcome. I've seen this over and over. A founder says, I've delegated marketing, but they still approve every post. They still rewrite the copy. They still jump in when performance dips. They still carry the fear of, if this fails, it's on me. So they didn't delegate. They just added more weight, more pressure. Here's the root of the cause. You're too attached to being the reason it works. Your identity is too tied up to the outcome. And it's what keeps you on all of the time, even in your time off. It might feel necessary, but deep down, you know you're slowing everyone down. In other words, you're not burned out, you're not overworked, you're too entangled in your own business. I know the thought of letting go of the outcome terrifies you, but it's not about completely letting go. It's about knowing when to carry responsibility and when to drop it. Here's what I mean. When I was studying Wing Chun, Bruce Lee's first martial art, the Grandmaster came to visit. I'll never forget what he shared with me. I can't wait for the balance that Wing Chun gives you, a younger version of me said. The Grandmaster paused, looked into the distance as if tapping into ancient wisdom. And he finally shared, it's not easy. You need to know when to sit and when to run. Years later, when I saw my father burnt out from his business, I realized that this was the key. Because leadership isn't about carrying everything. It's about knowing exactly what is yours and what isn't. Without this wisdom, you'll forever be entangled and trapped in a golden cage of good intentions, but exhausting execution. And the reason why most founders don't do it is because of societal programming that they've never dared to question. My father believed that his business was his baby and it was killing him. He wanted to sell the equipment and just get a job because it became too much for him. Despite having a team, he had no days off and he was obsessing over the business every waking moment. But the problem with thinking this way is this. Yes, your business is your baby in the beginning, but if after 5 years it's still your baby, then you're a shitty parent. Your business should grow up into an adult that can take care of you, not the other way around. So what did we actually do to get my father the freedom he always dreamed of when he started as an entrepreneur? After my father finally realized that he was acting like a glorified employee instead of an actual business owner, he was open to change. We made a few tweaks to his leadership, his delegation, and his identity inside the business, and my father suddenly could take a 2-week vacation with my mom while the business would continue to run smoothly. No hassle, no leaked energy, just calm, steady growth. A few years later, my father successfully sold the business, bought his dream home, and retired with my mom. You see, if you treat your business and your team like babies, you're not running a business, you're running a kindergarten. Change is possible, but most founders are terrified of changing their beliefs. They're afraid to lose in the short term without realizing what they've already lost in the long term. Because if you keep this up, you won't just lose your business, you will lose yourself in the process. But if you're ready to step back and finally have a business that takes care of you instead of constantly needing you, watch this video next. It will show you how to stop being the bottleneck and enjoy steady growth without breaking what's already working.